Thank you for watching CTSB and joining us today. This is our group, Families Like Ours, support group for families with children with autism and ADHD. And joining me today is Rania, Rebecca, Kate, and Sarah. And today's topic is Respite, Building Villages, and How Relationships Change Over Time. Really great subject. Really hits home. My son is 11, and we'll talk more about this in a minute. But yes, things have changed certainly in regards to all these topics for myself, having a son with special needs. So let's start out with our first question. How has your need for respite changed over time, and what does meaningful respite look like for you right now?
Hi, so Rania, I have 3 kids, one on the spectrum who is 9, about to be 10, and respite for me over the years has really changed as Zachary's needs have changed. And so, often when I think about who's going to take him, is it safe? Are there door alarms? Is there water around? Who else is in the house? But also it feels like it's just safer at our house because we have built the whole house to support his sensory needs, but also the tools that we need to survive, like anything from the doors play music when they open so that somebody's leaving, or special locks that prevent him from going outside and getting in the pool. So those things are really important to us.
So Rebecca and I have 3 kids under the age of 10. 2 are on the spectrum. One's a little too young to be trying to figure out what's going on yet. But sure, there's some things that are there. And meaningful respite for us was like when we had 1, maybe 2 kids, like it was not, we really didn't even think about it. We were just parents. We were new at it. And we just didn't even think about the fact that we needed a break. We just worked in tandem and gave each other a break. But once we added the 3rd, we really needed to have like a break. And again, in that vein where we didn't think we needed a break, but somebody else from the outside came in and said, you need a break. And so encouraged us to figure that out. And of course it was really a lot about money and how to pay for that, and then trusting somebody in your house and all of that. So meaningful respite right now is like if my husband and I can go out and have a few hours alone. And nothing big, nothing fancy, just alone together. And sometimes that means that we just have to create our own space in our own house, like after the kids are in bed, and see what that looks like. But we hold on to it loosely, and we don't get fixated on having and needing that respite, although we do need it. It's not something that keeps us or hinders us from doing what we need to do normally, right? If it comes, we're grateful. If it doesn't, we just keep plowing through.
Yeah. Well said. I'm Kate, and I have 3 children, 2 on the spectrum, 1 at home at this point, and she's 17. So my need for respite is pretty significant. She's a high need child. She's nonverbal. She needs help. My son was very high functioning. He works at GE in the tech department. You know what I mean? He's good to go. But she needs all areas of help: toileting, feeding, dressing, everything. And you can't really, when she's awake, not have eyes on her. So that takes a lot, a real specified skill set for respite. And there's, she's not a little baby. She's 17. So with diapering and stuff, it's. I need a female. I would feel comfortable with a female, not to be rude to anybody, but, and then there's just, that narrows it more. And then, I'm also new to Massachusetts, so that's another challenge. But there are seemingly more things in Massachusetts, which I'm grateful for. And her auntie does take her once a month, which is terrific, because I'm comfortable with that from her father's side. Yeah. She goes to the Albany area. It is wonderful, but I would like, I'm in search of more stuff. I have an appointment today at 4. Nice. So that's cool. I hope it goes well. Yeah.
There's lots of great supports around here. So
right.
Welcome, and I think you're in a great space.
I am very lucky. Yeah.
We are very lucky. Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thanks, Kate. I'm Sarah, and I have 2 children, one on the spectrum. She's 14. And I can say at 14, respite looks a lot different than it did when she was younger. I feel like education and communication is key, like learning more about her and finding the ability to educate people in your life. Even like my oldest daughter has been the greatest respite I've found. When she's home, I can trust her to help with her sister. And I think that when she was young, respite was needing to get out of the house, needing to get out of the environment, even just for a couple of hours, and finding key people that you could educate on. Same as what Rhonda and Rebecca said, like coming into your home was the safest. So you have to get out of the house for a few hours. And now we've really like created space within the home that you can take 20 minutes or go outside, go for a walk. She's older. We can trust her by herself. She's high functioning. And yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, and you made some really great points. Respite is quite difficult for me. I think plenty of summers I've skipped vacations. If there is a break, my mom and my son go with me, like we'll go to the Cape or something like that. But there is very little. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining because I'm happy with everything, but there is. You said pushing through. I just keep pushing. There is really no, especially as a single parent with elderly, parent living at home. Sure. So it's quite a lot. And
well, I will add to that it if you don't get a break, you kind of start turning into somebody that you don't like. You're not kind to your children. So the plowing and the pushing can work to a certain degree. And then you have to kind of like humble your heart here and say, recognize when you need help. I mean, we all have to push and plow through things. That makes you stronger. That teaches our children how to be resilient. There's a lot of positive things about it, but if you're not doing it well, that's a problem that you have to recognize, and where you do need to seek out and get the help. The difficult part is that it's just not, as you had said, it's a little more specialized, a little more customized for what you're looking for, and that's not as easy as there's readily resources available for nannies and for babysitting and for helping and things like that, personal care assistants and stuff, but as other people here I'm sure can testify, it's you get somebody in your house, it's encouraging, you're great, but then it goes south because it's just not a good fit. So
yeah, I can't tell you how many times we have left both our kids behind with the neighbor's, teenager, just to test it out, right? We just go to same town local restaurant and we get that phone call. I don't know what to do. He won't stop crying, or the iPad died. What do I do? Or he keeps trying to go outside, and so even being educated, it's not enough. I think one of our biggest barriers too, which is really our next question, is accessing it, because we often think of, I think our people, right, the people we surround ourselves with, often think of respite as you need just a break, but what happens when there's an emergency?
Yes.
What happens when you need to trust people because you have to take one kid to an appointment, but the other one needs to be supported, or you are trying to build a career, and you need those people to show up in safe ways, right? Take them to swim lessons because the other kid has something else going on. Right. It's often looked at you'll be fine. It's once a month, but that's not it. I think people forget that, yes, in my eyes, God trusted us with these kids and they were born to us specifically, but that doesn't mean we know what to do all the time or that we don't need that break. I mean, parenting is hard in general. Yeah. And an average parent needs a break from their kids. They send them to schools, or they send them to friends' houses for the night, or they go to dinner with friends or family. We don't get that. We're with if they're not in school, they're with us. Yeah. And so that tiny bit of respite we can get, it comes in little sections. Spurts. Mm-hmm.
And it's really important too, when you apply this to people who are single moms, single parents, and they can't, they don't have another person to work in tandem with to pass off and to work it out within you. And then you have your children who like, it's very important, these little things that are building every day toward their progress, toward their independence, toward growing and changing. And so a lot of like single parents, like, I mean, my sister's a single mom. They don't leave the house. They don't get to do anything. Things like the TV becomes the babysitter so that she can just go to the bathroom and take care of herself or make a meal. Yeah. It's not healthy, and it's kind of counterproductive to what we're trying to do. It's already enough of a challenge to try to navigate how our children's brains are wired and how they're supposed to live in the world. And so we're just constantly met with these obstacles of like, how do we continue to build on these little successes? But then like, if you don't have those little successes, it's just everything's kind of going regression, just going in a reverse direction. So my heart goes out tremendously for single parents. Things like organizations like FLO becomes, I mean, it's critical.
Yeah. Sometimes we're their only village.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Kate was saying, the all eyes on your child at all times can be exhausting.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I am a single mom, and I do have a boyfriend, but he's not her father, and it's different. There's different expectations, and he already is a great help financially and different things. And, our place got sold in New York State. So we're like, huh.
Yeah.
So it worked out, and she's in a great school district. And again, I'm super grateful to be here, but it's, I don't get respite. So, and we have a pool, and he has his own house and his own house set up in a certain way. Yeah. So I'm like very, hyper vigilant, I'd say, with my daughter. And sometimes there's things like laundry that need to get done, or there's other stuff that needs to get done. So while she's in school, I'm good, but school's wrapping up here, and I'm a little frightened, I have to tell you. Not frightened, I have this, I'll do it. But
I think, too, there's this difference, right? Like, you often think of parenting, and it's like, if you're in a traditional house and you're raising traditional, you have a traditional parenting experience, you get to have lazy days, you get to have sick days, like you get to put your kid in front of a TV and just hang out and rest and watch your own favorite movie. It will take me 6 hours to watch a 1 hour show. Like, right, there's no lazy parenting days for us. We just don't get that.
Yeah.
And then the other piece is not just the emergencies, but who's going to pay these people? Because they do need a particular set of skills. Yeah. And so you come in and they're $20-$30 an hour.
Yes.
Well, that's a 2 hour break once a month for us. What's that going to do?
For us, for 3 kids, I mean, that's just not in the budget.
Right?
No. Yeah. That's not in anybody's budget.
Yeah.
No.
And we can't even complain because, like, we do have a funding resource that helps us, but we're blessed in the sense that I have some friends who will come and do it for like a reasonable amount of money, so I can spread it out, right? I mean, and we're so grateful for the different people that have come along or whatever that we have been able to trust that have helped us. But again, there haven't been any emergencies. Thank God there haven't been those kinds of situations. They haven't had any negative experiences. My husband and I will arrange it, like we'll set up the guardrails. So like, no, we're not leaving the house. Like they're fed, they're in their jammies, they're everything. All they get to watch a movie, make sure they go to the bathroom, go to bed. Like that's it. So they're sleeping most of the time. So the money we're paying people, it's really like, and we're thankful. I'm not complaining. Do what you want, do what you need to do. But half the time the children are asleep. Like we're not going for like a day picnic by the lake, right? Like nope, that's not going to happen.
And I think a lot of times too, respite is used to like run basic errands or spend time with your spouse.
So you're never
you don't
turned
end up like the statistics show.
Like a single mom.
Yeah. I was a single mom for a long time, and I feel like my respite when Taylor was little was going to the grocery store always, because other than that, I was at work while she was with someone.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I am pretty lucky. I had an emergency, and I was in Massachusetts. I had a procedure go wrong, and I wasn't supposed, and I had to stay in the hospital for 2 days, and I was like, what am I going to do? Because again, she's female, and my boyfriend can help out, and he's great, but there's bathrooming, there's dressing, there's bathing, and that's not happy. He wouldn't feel comfortable. He's not her father. I don't even know if her father would feel comfortable at this point. He's passed, by the way, so, so I was very lucky in the fact that my boyfriend's daughter-in-law is a nurse. But she's got 2 young children one's a very active toddler and one's just a very verbose, super smart, fun kid. And she's a great mom, but she's got 2 little kids, and Lucia's nonverbal. So she was safe, she was fed, she was bathed, but Lucia couldn't tell me, and Lucia can't ask questions, and I don't know if anyone told Lucia where I was, or, you know what I mean? I mean, and having Lucia's father just never came back one day, he was just gone. I tried to explain that to her from the time she was 5, she sees a picture, she's like, huh. And that's a hard concept for any child to grasp, but like, what if she was worried that I wasn't coming back? And not that, wouldn't be mad that they didn't explain it. It's just, I didn't know if they had explained it. And, hey, can you explain to her? Can I talk? And then she's so busy, she can't really answer the phone because, like I said, there's just hands-on all the time, plus a very active toddler in a house that isn't set up for her toddler or technically my daughter yet. It's a work in progress. But
so many things to have to figure out.
Right.
And
it can be a slippery slope. Sure, my mom is a couple times at midnight. I have to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
My son's sleeping, sound asleep, and he's 8 years old.
Yep.
Does the ambulance come and just say goodbye to her? Or do we, a couple of times we've all gotten in the car at midnight and found ourselves in the ER at midnight with an 8-year-old who has got school in the morning.
I know what that feels
So,
like.
So what does your village look like today, and how did you begin building it? And, when we say village, I guess that would mean family members and others as well, not family members.
Well, I know for our family, like you just mentioned about the hospital and stuff like that. So we've lost all 4 of our parents over the last 3 years, 2 in the last 6 months, back to back. People my children were very, very close with. And so our life is just was one way one day, and then it's just and for years it was a certain way, and then now it's just a completely, we don't even know what to do with ourselves, right? It's just we just not really sure. So just huge adjustments. But our village today, I was born and raised in Maryland, so I don't have any family here, other than my husband's family, which is not, they're all grown. He was an only child. There's no family per se. So we have a very, active church family, people who we've been going to the same church for near 30 years, and we have people that are just people that were at my parents' bedside when they died. I mean, it's just really great people we can rely on and trust, and that are at the ready when they need. And then FLO is just families like ours has just been a complete lifeline for our family. Really just don't even know. I know 5 or 6 people that I can call on the phone in an emergency, and they'll be at my front door. And people I don't even know where they came from, what age they are. I don't know what their birthday is. I don't know what their background is. Because we haven't made it that far in terms of our relationships, but I know that they would be at the ready, because they would want somebody to do that for them. So and it's been great building it, because it's just, we know that every time we meet, every time we have an event, every time we do something like this, we're building putting the bricks in the foundation.
Yeah. Do you have a number on the village for FLO?
Yeah.
We recently adapted in a system that could kind of help us track family and the members of their family, and we were up to serving 400 people. I actually took a picture and sent it to Rebecca because I was so excited.
That's awesome.
So I think it's around 160 families.
Wow. In how many years, Rania, since you started?
We went nonprofit and really went live probably less than a year and a half ago.
Right. That's incredible.
That's amazing.
Just shows the need. And same as Rebecca, FLO is my village.
Yeah.
I know I can call. I have people's personal cell phone numbers, and you relate to different people in different ways. It's not just about our special needs kids and their needs, but Sarah and I connected because we both have children in the military, and they were our best friends, and that's a whole nother world that is just intense, and
they were a huge part of our village that we built because we needed them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would have been still shuffling through, computer stuff if it weren't for families like ours. They put me in touch with so much stuff, and I had that little setback in spring, and I do gardening, which is very physical, and then Lucia's very physical. She's a little taller than me, and I have to manipulate her sometimes, so I do get tired. But my goal is to bump up my my socialization and I need to meet people. I really do. Because it was, you know, a 17-year thing of just raising children. And now the big kids are gone. And like you said, they were a part of it. You know, I could giggle and laugh and joke with the older kids about what was going, you know, just life or whatever. Or they understood, you know, when we would get invited to somewhere, like, that sounds, you know, great for some people, but other families like ours, it wouldn't have worked. And it's like, oh yeah, how are we going to do that one? You know what I mean? So this is a very important organization. Yeah.
And I feel like you were saying, like, there's so many things that you have to think about, you know, like when you're not in the house and right, different things that come up over your brain is going a mile a minute trying to figure out all these different things. And I feel like hanging out with FLO and the families, some of that is let off a little bit. Right? So, like, for example, if I take my kid to, like, a spring concert at the school, and I'm not really sure how things are going to go, how he's going to navigate the crowd, other people that are around or whatever, and you want to give people the benefit of the doubt that they're gracious and that they're kind, and most people really are. But, like, if my kid has a frickin' meltdown in the middle of whatever, I have no idea who I can expect that is going to, like, come to my aid. But, like, if I was with families like ours, it would be like I would be surrounded by a group of people who could help me. They would take the other children who were affected by the situation and they would redirect them over here and distract. You know what I mean? It's a whole different thing. And so I feel like we're able to let off the gas a little bit because we're more around people. And like the expectations that I have when I'm in a FLO event are that these other people feel what I feel. They're carrying what I'm carrying. So my expectations are proper when I expect people to come around and help me. Right. But if I'm in a big crowd of people, like at a spring concert or something like that, I cannot expect these people to come to me in that way. It's a different kind of an emergency. It's a different kind of situation that you're navigating.
You're on guard more, like.
Yes, you're on guard, and it's hard. You cannot have the same expectations. And rightly so, you know, because people may not be equipped or you know what I mean, or know how to help or whatever.
Like a fun trip to the farmer's market. My daughter loves people, but she's getting bigger, and there's some older people there, and she loves grandmotherly type folks. Yes. She loves her grandma, the one that she has, her father's mother, but she's big and she gets excited, and if she grabs someone, and you know, or other people who might have some issues, if she comes up and touches them from the back, she frightens them. She's not verbal, so she's being gentle, and it's not out of anything, but I don't want her to.
Yeah, Zach's a cheek rubber. Oh. And sometimes they're like, please don't touch me.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
I do.
It's not you.
So right. The grocery store is always a tricky thing, pushing the cart with her in the middle. Now she's taller, so it's like, so now we stand side by side, but it's still like she sees an elderly woman that she thinks wants to hang out with her. She's going for it.
That's nice.
And usually they're great.
Like,
God forbid she, you know, wants to hug someone and tip them on their stuff, you know. So.
Well, the dads group here, I found, you know, some, you know, community and understanding with the dads, because you know, like I think my childhood friends who I'm still friends with after all these, they're great. They don't have children.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, you know, maybe get-togethers and things like that. And I'm always the one who's like, can't make it. My son tonight. My mom's at home. But I think the dads kind of, you know, showed me, they're like, yeah, we have to, like, we have our own business because we can't be at work all day. We have to, like, we have doctor's appointments.
Sure.
And so that was super helpful to me.
Right.
And I just want to say, if there's any dads out there who, you know, like, want to be included, they're you know, there are plenty of dads, and I think that's a great support as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. The moms of FLO is having a mom's night that's coming up, and we're all going to go see a play.
Great.
You know, that we just having a minute to just be an adult and a human, but having that opportunity then without the children present to be able to like get to know one another and personality. You know what I mean, right? Mm-hmm. Personalities and understanding. So.
Okay. Let's see. How do you communicate your needs for support without feeling like a burden?
I haven't figured that out yet.
I think it's really a lot of vulnerability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just being realistic about like your situation and that you can't get through some things without help. You're a human. Crying.
Yeah.
Being honest about where you're at. I think, like, for me, I need a lot of help, like the emergency thing, like I need a lot of help because my youngest daughter has a lot of medical issues. So I've had to be really honest in, like, where I need help with rides, I need help with someone taking on what I can't do because I'm with her, or
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of more information sharing.
Information sharing, yeah.
Than what you're necessarily want to do.
Sometimes you don't want to share things, but you have to get vulnerable about sharing them because nobody understands your situation unless you really just, like, crack yourself open and share that information.
If you keep it in, it's too much. I know, like, around the holidays, I start to get, like, I think it's my breaking point. There's so many expectations about money and gifts and bringing a tree into your house, and there's so many things.
Right.
You know, I think the holidays are, like, super tough for me, and I generally don't, like, I don't say anything to anybody until I'm, like,
we actually, and that's the thing, like, we've had a lot of families that have shared things like that where, like, they try to, because, like, peace comes by understanding and not by force. And so you do that vulnerability, that word is key here. It's absolutely key. And so, like, we've had families who, like, have not necessarily felt vulnerable enough, or that it was necessary enough to, like, maybe share with their family about, like, their child, like, what kind of toys to give them, what kind of gifts and things like that, or whatever. And yet, like, if you let your guard down a little bit and you are a little vulnerable and you're honest with people face to face, I mean, and not be afraid of what their reactions are. I mean, I think that's a part of it. I think honesty is absolutely the best policy. And buckle up that you might lose some relationships, that you might, it might be on a hiatus, your relationship might be on a hiatus for a few months, right? Until people can get themselves straight. And it's not trying to fit people into your box. It's trying to educate and help people to understand. And then in that process, you yourself are not being let down. You're not, getting upset and disappointed because somebody wasn't able to rise to what your expectations were, right? If you're just honest and outright about what it is at the beginning, transparent, then you won't be so disappointed, right? I mean, because the reality is that we have children whose brains are wired differently, who carry a lot of things that most people do not have to go through. And we have to set the guardrails. We have to be their protectors. We have to hold them up. They can't do it for themselves. Other people are not going to do it. That's our task. And so you're not trying to fit other people into your box. You're trying to help them to understand so that we can all get along kind of together, better together, right? So I think that the honesty is huge. You have to be honest about your situation. I mean, look, so you can either be honest about your kids, right, and what you're carrying and whatever, or you can let other people draw their own conclusions.
Yeah.
Which one's easier?
And honestly, about being honest about it, not only do you find your people, but you find the people that are not going to work for your people.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah.
There's also a thing where you can be as honest as you want, but if you're literally not able to communicate because you are attending to your child's physical needs, and then, say maybe you have your own ADHD, I don't know, and then you forget, and then you remember at 2 a.m, you know what I mean? It's hard to foster and maintain relationships, but it's a work in progress, and, as far as the universe or God goes, what's meant to happen, I feel is meant to happen, and people will be in my life or they won't. I mean, I have a responsibility to be honest and to be vulnerable, but if what you said, it will weed out folks, and that's how it goes.
We have, we were at the breakfast table this morning, and my little 4-year-old is, like, making funny faces at my daughter, and she's twisted out, you guys, like, make him stop,
It's pretty typical,
she's, like, totally affected, and I'm, like, looking at him, I'm like, you do not have the power to change what another person is doing. You only have the power to say of what you say and do. And so I think that's just, if you're the way you present and being honest or whatever, like, that's what I mean. Like, expectations of other people, you need to hold on to, like, set your expectations low.
Or don't have them.
And then you won't be disappointed, right?
Don't have them.
And if they meet the expectations, then you'll be pleasantly surprised, right?
I'm struggling with that.
Completely, yes.
I am, because I think for a long time I had this expectation of what each person in my life was supposed to do or show up as in my life. And I'm only now starting to realize that it's a choice.
Yes.
Just because, God gave me this child doesn't mean it's also everybody else's responsibility to help me build those guardrails.
Right.
I'm coming to a point where I have to accept that some people don't want to be part of the village.
True.
But still part of my life.
True.
And accepting that it looks non-traditional, like talking about the
Yeah.
people that are in your village and that aren't, and the ones you can trust and trust. A lot of the people that are in my village are not the people that you would have these expectations that you were born with parents or siblings and
Yeah.
they're going to be your village. A lot of times they're not. They're not
Yeah.
capable of taking that on.
Chosen family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chosen
I
family.
was going to wrap this up with the last question, and you're actually answering it right now. Like, what would your ideal village look like? And maybe that's not possible.
Yeah.
You know, like, or maybe for some people, you know, I kind of think like I'm on my own. It's me, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you know, yes, there's people in my life that are helpful and supportive, but like on an everyday, you know, basis, So
I think you got to go with the flow.
I think so, and that's exactly why this group exists.
And I
to create
honestly, I hope, you know, within the next few years, as we continue to see this growth, that we do get the funding to open a space where we can provide that respite for families, because there's traditionally a lot out there for the older kids, and once they age out of the school systems, and there's a few actually that there's day programs, there's residentials. There's not a lot of support for families who have children under the age of, say, 18 to be able to drop off so that they can go to the grocery store knowing their kids are safe. I mean, the grocery store has become challenging for us. If my husband is working, I'm literally going for I'm waiting in my car for a specific cart to become available to me. And then I'm making a dive for French fries in the seafood department so that my son is not overstimulated and he has something to do. To make sure, if God forbid we forget the headphones, it's game off. We're starting over tomorrow. Like, who has to be that intentional when you're trying to meet a basic need and get food? We are.
Right.
We have to be.
God forbid you forget your list.
Yeah, you forget your list, exactly. So I feel like, you know, part of it, there is something to be said, and it should encourage all of us in that. I know that that's very, very, very hard, right? What you just described, you know. So I don't want to dismiss or be minimal or anything like that, but you know, maybe there's a reason why we were made parents of special needs kids, kids with special needs and things like that, because it's helping us to understand human beings around us a little bit better, right? And how to you know, take it easy on others, you know what I'm saying, right? Like, not be so hard and so turned on, and you know what I mean, have to be turned on all the time about everything. It's just helping, it's just spreading understanding and among people, you know, and then maybe other people will see that like a light, you know, and they'll see it and they'll be drawn to it, you know. There's benefits and blessings in everything. So
definitely a factor to it that you realize you never know truly what someone's going through. Like, people can look at you and they have no idea what you just described, that going to the grocery store is such a heavy thing.
Yeah. Or you know, when you become a parent, it's this joyous and beautiful thing, and it's just wonderful, and your heart is so full. There's nothing like it. And then your child is flipped out, melted down on the frickin' floor, screaming at you, saying ridiculous things like, "You don't love me," or you know, or
and all you're trying to do is go to a doctor appointment because you think you have Lyme.
Yeah, right. I mean,
why do you make me do this?
Things that were, and it's not traditional, you know, not, you know, typical parents would not experience any of this stuff. We all have, because it's all trying to figure all that out. But what the heck do you do in that you somehow you have to adapt, right? And so our children have to adapt so that they can live in the world. And so by that same way, we also have to adapt.
And I think at the end of the day, most people are dealing with work-life balance.
Sure.
We are dealing with work, life, and caregiver balance.
Yeah.
And the caregiving piece is always at the top.
Sure.
Always.
Sandwich generation, taking care of older parents
Right.
and younger, you know, their children.
Yeah. And but you know, families like ours has just been such a great support, and it's growing, and the momentum's there. And
can I say one thing real quick? So the respite place I'm going to visit, because my daughter is 17, is in Pittsfield. So I'm very happy that there is one, and we'll see what that looks like and how I feel. But I really was hoping there was one in South County, because that's where I'm trying to put down roots. And you know, when I moved from New York, I moved from right across the street from Massachusetts. It changed the services and the wording, but I did know the people. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I not all of them. I'm meeting a lot more, which is awesome. But So I'm really hoping that families like ours can get the funding.
True.
There's definitely a need for it, because someday we're all going to not be here, and the relationships that our children are fostering are integral to their continued success.
Right.
You know, they really are.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's building roots for sure.
Yeah. How do people get in touch with families like ours?
Yes.
How do they sign up? How do they participate?
Yeah, so if they are watching, just Rania at familieslikeoursinc.com. They can check out our Facebook page. We do a lot of fun videos and post a lot of resources, just Families Like Ours. We also have a website, www.familieslikeoursinc.com, where we keep an updated list. If you have a family member or someone that could use some workshops, we often will do workshops with like DDS or caregiver burnout stuff. So we're not just about making those connections, but also educating and really creating a space where people can learn more about our kids and our families.
Great. Excellent. Thank you all. This is a great conversation. It's healing, it's supportive, it's so many things. So I hope to continue this. Half hour is never enough.
No, it's
and thank you for joining us today. And if you need a village or support services, please get in touch with Families Like Ours. And what a great organization. And let's see how this summer works. And let's come back for our next episode. And let's all talk about how the summer's going and and what's next.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.